Hi there, and welcome to episode 40 of Scottish Football Matters, the Big 4-0. This week we're going to review the matches from the 27th of December and look ahead to tomorrow night, which is the 30th midweek card, the last fixtures of the calendar year. And we'll have a wee look ahead to those, do our predictions, and I think if there's time, we'll maybe have a wee chat about what we feel maybe Celtic and Rangers need from the January transfer window as that opens on, oh God,
Friday.
Monday. I don't, who knows what date it is
Is it
anymore.
Friday?
Friday. It's
No,
Friday. Well,
no, Thursday.
Thursday's the
Thursday.
first, isn't it? No,
Aye.
no,
I'm getting
no.
mixed up with the days, sorry.
Thursday's the first. Friday the second. I know. No one knows the days this time of year, do they?
I
So,
know.
but how's things? You all right?
Aye. Yeah, not bad.
You all good?
Yeah, been doing all right. Had a nice wee Christmas, so yeah. How about
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah. It's just been busy, busy with the kids and that. But yeah, yeah, quite a good one.
Hmm.
It was a weird one to have six Scottish games on a Saturday.
Yeah, very weird.
That's certainly a rarity.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, if we go through them, I think the best place to start is probably the lunchtime game between Hibs and Hearts, which my thoughts on it were that Hibs were great for
Yeah,
an hour. Um,
yeah.
I don't want to say they took their foot off the gas, but whenever you're 3-0 up, I think psychologically maybe you do. Or they maybe just got a bit tired and
Hmm.
Hearts got away back into it. And to be honest, if it wasn't for a wonder save by Salinger at the end, it could have been three each. But I think in general, I think Hibs deserved the win because I would say they played better for longer in the
Hmm.
match because I would say they were better for the hour, as I said, whereas Hearts were only really good for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But it just shows you. I mean, as we'll both be about to find out next weekend. Derby games are just they're so hard to predict. Um, you can't really tell. Form does go out the window because form would
Yeah.
have suggested a Hearts win, but
Hmm.
Hibs are not going to want Hearts to be coming to their patch and winning. But I thought there was some good performances. I thought Shankland and Devlin were good again as usual for Hearts. Bowie was a handful uh, up top. I thought Campbell really made a difference when he came on. I know he scores, but I thought in general his play, he sort of. I've always found Josh Campbell to be one of the sort of weird players. Every time I see him, I'm impressed, but I only really see him when he plays against Hearts, Celtic, or Rangers.
Hmm.
But he doesn't seem to do much against the other teams.
Yeah.
And you would think, obviously, maybe, and he picks up quite a lot of injuries, but he definitely looks like one of those players that he gets goals. He scores a lot of headers. I think I remember him scoring a couple of headers against Hughes a couple of years back, and I know he
Hmm.
scored against Rangers a time or two. But yeah, I mean, in general, I thought, as I said, Hibs shaded it and deserved their win.
Yeah. I think the goals were
Yep.
really good. They took their goals well. I thought the second goal, the header, was a cracker right into the corner. Almost think maybe even off the post, possibly. The third goal was a nice finish as
Yeah.
well, and Hearts obviously done well to come back
Yep.
into it. But thankfully, in the end, they didn't get the draw or the victory that they wanted.
Aye. I suppose next one to move on to is Dundee Falkirk. I think that was a game of three big decisions. The Falkirk red card that got rescinded to a yellow, I think, was the right decision. It was
Hmm.
a yellow. I understand why the referee gave a red because in first viewing, I think it looks quite high. But
Looks worse than
if you
what it is.
actually watch it, he takes the ball and the contact is actually on the bottom of the foot and it's more the leg that catches high up. So he doesn't catch him with the studs high up. So I think the yellow card was the right decision.
Yeah.
Um, I'll go to the more obvious one. The Dundee red card's a red card, and in this day and age, when even if it's an accident, because it's quite like the one that was on Van Dyke down in England the other week by Xavi Simons.
Hmm.
I feel bad for the players when they get a red card for this because it is a complete accident. But whenever you get studs in the Achilles, it endangers the safety of the opponent. So
Yeah.
yeah, it has to be a red card.
Can't argue with it.
I thought the penalty one. I mean, we're going to go on to penalties as well.
Mhm.
He jumps up and it looks worse than it is for me, though, because he turns away from it and his arms are actually close to his body. But because they're out in any way, it's going to be a
Mhm.
penalty. So
Yeah.
I think it's the right decision based on all the penalties we get in Scotland for handballs. But in general, I don't want to see them giving us penalties, if I'm
No,
honest,
me either. Me
because
either. But
I
in the
don't
current
think he's
ruling,
meant it. He's tried to block the shot with his body and it's
hmm
came off. Yeah.
hmm
But I thought it's a big result for Dundee, that. Especially when they went down to 10 men to hold on,
yeah,
because
they did
Falkirk,
well.
as you know, are a decent team.
Hmm
And that's the sort of thing that they're doing that maybe Kilmarnock and Livingston aren't doing, because they're not picking up the points that maybe they want. I mean, I know Kelly got a
Yeah,
draw, but wins are just so much more precious down there when
of
you're in a
course.
dogfight. So
Oh,
fair play to Dundee,
definitely.
absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I'll probably go on to St Mirren, Kelly, because there wasn't much in this game. St Mirren dominated,
hmm
but they they were undone by a great bit of goalkeeping for one of the chances, and just a. I think St Mirren. I think I seen a stat. It might have been on Sports Scene, but apparently St Mirren are the lowest scorers in the league. Now
Right.
you wouldn't think that because they're a good team and they pick up
No, that's
results,
right.
but
Hmm
it doesn't really surprise me because at the top end they just seem to be missing that wee bit.
Yeah,
And
the
if
final
they can
third.
find, because we're going to always talk about the transfer, if they can find a proper striker who's maybe more clinical than, I mean, I know that Younger done it in the cup final, and that'll mean a lot to them. But they do need somebody who doesn't just score against Rangers and Celtic, and a 1 in 3 type striker. They could do with a proper 15 to 20 goal striker,
Hmm
and
They're obviously not doing as good as what they
you
did
could
last
see
season,
that
that's for
they
sure.
and they do lack. They, well, I still think they'll be there or thereabouts for the top six.
You think
I
so?
think the cup's been a big distraction for them. Yeah, yeah. Because I look at the top six and I go, Aberdeen and Dundee United are just about there, and you can't honestly tell me that St Mirren are worse than them. They're not.
No, but
They've
no, but
and they've
myself,
got a couple
I
of games in
fancy.
hand as well.
hmm I fancy Dundee United and Aberdeen to finish in the top
So
six. So I think St Mirren will probably
I
just
don't
miss it
know.
in the top six.
I just wouldn't rule them out,
No, I'm not
because I
ruling
do
them out.
think
I
that
just
their
I just think
defence is
that
pretty decent. And
mhm,
yeah,
yeah,
but as I said, they'll. I think that you'll find that they'll focus a bit on the league now that the cup's done.
yeah,
And they're probably not going to do a cup double, let's be honest, but they've got that cup and now they can kind
hmm
of focus on getting away from the bottom half and really keep them around that somewhere between fifth and eighth. I
yeah.
don't know where they'll be, but I'd be massively surprised at the end of the season if St Mirren weren't in fifth, sixth, seventh, or eighth. They're not poor enough to be in the bottom
Unless they
four.
have an
They're
absolute
not good
disaster
enough
of
to
the
be in the
second
top
half of the
four,
season.
but they are. I just can't. Even a disaster, they're not going to be as bad as Kelly, Livingston, and Dundee.
No, they
But
shouldn't
yeah,
be.
you're right. You're right. I mean, they could, but I think it was a bit of a nothing game in terms of just they didn't do enough in front of goal. Um, I think next one we can go on to is Aberdeen, Dundee United. I think that was.
Mhm. That was the late kick-off on it,
I
the
actually
quarter to
thought
six.
Dundee United were the better side. Yeah, yeah. I thought Dundee United shaded this one.
Yeah,
Um, and it's a bit like Dundee United, though. See, when they do take the lead, they really struggle to kill the game off.
I've
And
noticed that.
I know we've called them Jekyll and Hyde, but
Hmm
they tend to do that even within the same games. That I found it when they're 1-0 up or 2-0 up, you're never sure they're going to win.
That's right.
And
That's true.
yeah,
Hmm
I think one each was probably about fair. But I thought Dundee United definitely played the better stuff.
Yeah, I'd say they
And
shaded it. They
if
should have
anyone
probably
was going
won
to
it.
win it, I think it was Dundee United.
They probably should have won it. They'll be
Uh,
kicking themselves that they didn't.
yeah. Uh, on, on to another close game, Rangers Motherwell. I've got to admit, it wasn't a 1-0 game. Motherwell could have scored 3 or 4.
Hmm
Rangers could have scored 3 or 4. It was a game where you can tell that, like we said about St Mirren, it's two teams who are actually decent football teams, but they lack a wee bit of cutting edge in
Yeah,
that final third because a good team scores 3 or 4 goals, regardless of the opposition. In that game with those chances, a good team takes 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
And I think right now Motherwell and Rangers are just not quite there, but they can certainly both address that in January by making better signings at the top end of the pitch. I mean,
You would
because
think so.
again, another crazy stat: Rangers have the best defence in the league. What? We're the worst at defending, and somehow we've conceded the least amount of goals. That just shows you how mad,
Who's
and it actually shows you how misleading stats can be too,
I,
as well.
I was going to say, who's making these stats up?
Because
That's
no, no,
crazy.
it's mental to think we've
Uh,
conceded the least amount of goals. But I think Wilfred Nancy has something to do with that. I think he's helped us. He's helped us by making use so pish at the back, but good going
mm-hmm.
forward. Because I think you've conceded a lot in recent games. But back on the Rangers game, I think Rangers shaded it and probably deserved the win. They got the disallowed goal, which again, letter of the law, he is offside. He's probably interfering with the keeper. I actually think he's behind the keeper,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't argue that he's somewhere in his eye line and maybe impacting his ability to save it. I don't think he does save it, but we can't make that decision. So I
Yeah.
think the right decision is to disallow the goal, even
Mm-hmm.
though sometimes there's not a lot you can do as a striker because you're actually trying to get out of the way of the game.
Yeah.
But I think that's the fair decision. Do you agree? That disallow the goal,
Yeah.
even though he didn't do a lot wrong.
But on the other foot,
And he probably
talking
would
about
have
the
impacted the
Motherwell,
keeper.
the incident with the Motherwell for the penalty. I mean, do you think
Uh,
it was a dive or do you
I
think it's a
just
foul?
no, not at all. I think it's a dive. No,
You think it's a
I think
dive?
there's contact, but I think the contact is initiated. I think
No.
he falls into Fernandez's. Put it this way: Fernandez plants his foot and doesn't move it at any point, and the boy tries to make contact. I think it's just one of those ones that you can't blame the striker for trying. But see if he'd stayed in his feet, he'd probably score.
Mm,
He's got a good
I
chance. He's made a good wee run into the
I don't know.
box.
I've
He's
seen it a
what
couple of times and it's a funny
10 to
one.
12 yards out.
I don't know. It's the angles
But
are
you
showing you.
can't
You can't
really
really
say
tell if
that
it's a
the
dive or
defender
not.
makes. No, what I would say is the defender doesn't stick a leg out to kick him. His leg's
Hmm.
planted. Whether or
Yeah.
not you think that that's enough for a player to run in and make. I just don't think. See, if he'd lifted the leg, I would be all penalty. But the fact that his leg's planted, what is he actually meant to do? You can't stop someone running into you and
Yeah.
making
Well,
contact.
I
It just isn't
suppose.
a penalty for me, and I wouldn't want Rangers to get it either because it's just one of those ones that you go, there's going to be contact in football, but sometimes I think defenders get a raw end of the deal
Hmm.
when they don't really do anything wrong. Their legs planted, they've not dangled a leg. It's not like one of those where he's dangled a leg, he's a wee bit fortunate. I just don't think it's I don't think it's a foul.
Did
I'm
he?
not even 100% sure it's a dive either. I think it's just one of those. It's a nothing one where they've
Hmm.
collided,
Well, I
you
was
know.
hoping. I was hoping for a penalty,
But I
but
think
it
the
didn't
boy could
happen.
have maybe stayed up. Nah, I mean, to be fair, the way Butland was playing, he'd have probably saved it. It was
You're
one of
probably
those
right.
games that I think because he made that howler. He made that howler, didn't he,
Yeah.
against who was it?
The last game.
Hearts. Aye, the howler for
Aye.
the Shanklin one at the near post. Aye,
Hmm.
Hearts. Right, he makes a howler, and by the way, that's when you know a player is a top player when they can make a mistake and come back the next game and go, do you know what? And he deserved his clean sheet. Maybe the defenders in front of him didn't deserve it, but he did. But I think one player I will sort of praise is Asgard for scoring the goal. It's not a great goal, but he's plugging
Couldn't
away
miss it.
and he's trying to find form. He's
He couldn't
clearly
miss it.
he's
The
clearly
goal.
not playing well, right? But he's trying.
Hmm.
Well, I think he could have. I've seen him miss them. Uh, I've seen him
No
miss
for
a
that.
few in his short time here, but
No for that range.
fair play. I think Rangers did enough. If you look at Rangers over the game, they certainly created enough to win. I don't buy into all this like you know how many goals you should have scored and clear chance. At the end of the day, the eyes show you that Rangers edged the game, but there's no
Hmm.
much in it. And Motherwell are a good team. I
Yeah.
have to say they are. In fact, you probably say the same in terms of visiting teams to Celtic Park. Motherwell are probably, even though Hearts won, Motherwell were probably better than Hearts were. And I
Aye.
think, again, Hearts are the only team to win at Ibrox, but
Mm-hmm.
Motherwell were way better than Hearts,
Motherwell have obviously played the best football this season, I
just in
think.
terms of their ability to play football. I mean, I think they had more possession than Rangers, which is
Mm.
unheard of at Ibrox, I
Yeah.
would say.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to praise Danny Rule. He's getting results even though his team's shit. And you've
Yeah.
got to say it's commendable, because
That's all
if
you
you
want, but
can
you want
if he
victories,
can get better players,
even
then
if you play
maybe.
rotten, yeah, you want to win the games.
Yeah. But I did think Rangers played okay in spells. I just wish we were a bit more clinical,
Mm.
because obviously we've got some tough games coming up, and we will touch on obviously St Mirren and Celtic, but you're gonna get chances against Celtic, but you need to take them. You need to take them, because Celtic look like taking
I'm
chances.
worried. I'm worried about the.
So
Sorry, we're
it
all right
could.
going forward, but I'm worried about the defence to the back.
But I will move on to Celtic, because that was probably the maddest 10 minutes of football I've seen ever,
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
because
it was absolutely mental.
it was just it was mental. I mean, I think, do you know what? Like, you could be an arse, right, and sit here and pick the bones out of every single negative. Like, oh, he didn't track his runner, he's pish at this, he's crap at that, right? But sometimes seeing football, see when it's that basketball, it's quite fun to watch. And I think from Livy's point of view,
For a
Montano's
neutral eye.
finishes were good,
Mhm.
right? Montano's two finishes are great. I can't blame the keeper, but yeah, the defending is terrible, right?
Oh,
And then you
Ralston
look at the
and
other
Yang,
side of it,
obviously.
you know, Negrin is standing, alone 2 yards from goal for a tap in. Whatever the hell happened at that second goal was just terrible defending. But sometimes you got to praise that it was a good game, and I mean we'll get on to the third goal, but in the 10 minutes it was just mental.
It
It
was.
was just goal, 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 and sometimes you can criticise the defending, and I think we could actually be honest and say that all of those goals are avoidable.
Of
You know,
course they were.
mark your man at a corner, uh, defend a cross ball, don't leave a man to waltz into your box and then
Hmm.
leave him at the back stick on his own to finish.
Yeah,
But
because there was nobody there.
I think Livingston played a part, and Celtic. It was two each at that point, and it was a fun game. Negrin scores an absolute worldie, which
Belter,
probably deserves.
really
It's
good.
definitely the goal of the weekend, and it probably deserved to be the last goal in the game, because it's a winning goal. It's.
Hmm.
I will talk on the penalty in a minute, because I
I'm
just,
glad it wasn't. No, and we'll come to that.
again, I've seen it too many times, uh, and I hate. Aye, we'll come. We should speak on Negrin second, because it's an absolute. The technique is brilliant. Um,
Hmm.
the way he gets over. And one thing I will say about Negrin, I don't think he's a great footballer, but he's
No,
very, very good in front of goal.
he is. He gets
Um,
into their
he's
positions.
he gets himself in positions, and aye, and
Mhm.
yeah, his finishing isn't always there, but sometimes it is. And
Top goal scorer.
I
He's a top
think,
goal scorer
even
for
though I
Celtic.
don't
So,
think his overall game has
hmm.
been great, yeah, but that doesn't surprise me, because he gets into good positions. I remember a season where Scott Arfield did that for Rangers, and he was at this point of the season our top goal scorer. I'm like, how's he top goal scorer? Well, I mean, you're thinking, where's the
I'm
strikers? What
wondering
are
that
they
as
doing?
well.
But
Exactly. Hmm.
sometimes your midfielders are just better finishers. But
Hmm.
what did you think of the penalty? Because to me, I think it's just one of those that's a joke decision, but it's a joke decision that's happened all season. It's a
Oh,
terrible decision. The guy, what are you meant to do?
it
Two
looks as
guys are
if
wrestling for a ball, right? Maeda doesn't push him. I'm not buying this one, right? Some
well,
people said Maeda
people
pushed him.
said that he
He
pushed
doesn't.
him,
He's
right?
trying
I
to win
don't
the
see him
ball.
pushing him. Yeah.
But
In
no,
that
the
situation,
two,
which is made, I
he
meant to
doesn't
do.
push
You
him,
know what I mean?
but at the same time, he does impact the handball, because the two of them are trying to go for a ball.
Hmm.
For me, it's not a penalty. It should never be a penalty. But based on Scottish football, where essentially if it hits a hand in the box, it's a penalty.
Well,
We just
keeping
need to
up with the way
accept
that
it.
they're doing it, keeping up with
But it shouldn't be.
I know that, but the way
Yeah,
they're doing it, obviously, by the letter of the
everything's a
law that
penalty.
Scottish football
Everything
decides,
that hits a hand in the
it
box
was a
is a
penalty.
penalty.
Obviously, it was a
Yeah.
penalty in Scottish football terms. It was a penalty. And to be
But I
honest,
mean,
I will say I'm glad we
it's
got
just
it
it's
because
just not. It's not. You don't want to see it. Yeah.
but see if we didn't get the
Aye.
penalty, I think
Because
if it stays 3-2, we struggled in the second half a bit and they came into it a bit. you must have saw. So who
To be
knows?
fair,
They might have
Livingston
got
had
a
a lot of
point out of the game.
chances in the second half.
I know they did. So that's why I'm glad we
Yeah,
get that
but what I
cushion.
would say though is that I think you'll agree that you don't want to see them as penalties.
No,
Just
but
like I didn't want to see the Scales one as a penalty. I think it's
no,
quite similar to the Scales one in the sense that what's the defender meant to do?
because
Because
obviously I was
you
watching
are
it,
going to
and
jump for a ball and you are going to miss time a jump.
when I was watching it and I saw
It's
the incident and it
it's
showed you on
wrong.
the
It's
replay,
just
I was going like that to the guys in the pub. I was watching at the pub, and I says to a few of the guys in the pub, he's not going to give that. We actually agreed in the pub that we didn't think he was going to give the penalty. And if he does, he gives a penalty, and we're like, well, all right. And a
I
guy
knew
went
as
like to
soon
me,
as
a guy
I
went
knew they
like
were
to me,
going to
well,
give it because
take that.
as soon as they send. As soon as they send the referee over, you just know that it's going to be a penalty. But I think
Not all the
everyone
time, no,
knows it
not all
shouldn't
the
be.
time. No, but not all the,
But
it doesn't happen all the time.
in Scotland, it seems like you do. Whenever
That'll be
they
a
send
lie.
you over for a
But in
handball in
England, when you
Scotland,
see it
it's
in
pretty
England,
much always a penalty.
it's never in England though. If they
Yeah.
they can change their
But
minds, you know.
what I would say is, though, that I think Celtic are still. I'm still not. I still don't know if Nancy's a good manager or Celtic are a good team yet.
Me
Because
either.
what I would say is, and I said this after the Aberdeen game, that because they were down to 10 men, it was hard to tell
Hmm.
whether I'd learnt a lot. But
Yep.
Livingston, what I would say is Celtic were terrible in that second half again.
Yep. And they were.
I don't
They
know
were.
what he says to them at half time
I know it's the 4-2.
because
Last, I'm glad we were
Celtic
4-2
don't
up. That's
seem
what I
to
said.
be.
Uh-huh.
But what I would say is that see if Livy had scored one in the second half, if it went 4-3, they would have got a fourth. Without a shadow of a doubt,
I wouldn't
Celtic
argue
would
with
have
that. I wouldn't
caved
deny that.
because you
Hmm.
can see that. Um,
Oh, they panicked.
and what I would say is like you've got two tougher teams coming up this week.
I know.
And I don't think you
I
can
know.
afford to lose 2 or 3 goals against those teams.
It's a hobby, can he? But
But
this is
every
the
game's
cam. It's the
different. You
this
might
is
not
the,
lose two
this,
or three
this
goals.
I know, but
But I
this is the
think if you
kamikaze
defend,
football that he
aye,
plays. Kamikaze.
yeah.
It's crazy.
But some of it is quite good to watch going
It's
forward,
good
I
to
have to
watch
say.
going forward.
Celtic could have scored 6 or 7 in that first half.
Yeah, it's good to watch
But I
going
didn't
forward, but we
think
need to
Celtic
keep it
really.
tighter
I
at the
think
back.
maybe for the first 5 minutes of the second half.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I think the last half hour Celtic were terrible. I really did. I thought they didn't manage the game very well.
No,
Um,
no.
and it was more luck than anything else that Livingston didn't, or more luck or poor quality from their point of view, that they didn't get back into the game.
But it's been the same in every game
But
under
if we
Nancy in
move
the
on
second
to
half.
obviously there's
Yeah.
definitely an issue with whatever he says at half time. It doesn't seem like the players come out with the same intensity.
No, they don't.
What he's saying before the game seems to be firing them up,
Yeah.
but when whatever he's saying at half time seems to almost deflate them.
Hmm.
I don't know. But if we move on, there's only 5 games on Tuesday because
That's
Hearts
right.
and Falkirk have played. They played one
Celtic
of
got
their
their
games,
game in
didn't they?
hand.
When
Yep.
yep, technically, Rangers have two. But if we go through all the games, I think the best one to start with is we'll go with Dundee Kelly. How do you see that going? Because Kelly obviously got a point and Dundee got a win. But this is a real six. I know that I do hate that phrase and I hate that I'm saying it, but it is a 6 pointer
6 pointer.
because both of them are right. They're right in the mire down there.
Hmm.
And
I think
I really don't
think
know.
it will be a hard one. It's going to be it might be a draw again because the two of them are not. But let's face it, they're not
Yeah, I
very
think
good.
it's going to be a draw. I think I'm going to say one each. Aye, I
Yeah,
think it's going to be
I might even
1-1.
go 0-0 to be honest. It's that bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I could say a goalless draw.
Could be, aye.
Yeah,
Because let's be honest, Dundee only scored from a penalty, and Kelly got a 0-0 at St Mirren. So
hmm,
if they play the way they did, and
yeah,
there isn't any handballs, if the players come out with no arms, then I suppose
hmm,
we'll get a 0.
yeah. I think it'll be a draw
But
anyway.
yeah, I'm going to say one each. I'm going to just go with yeah. Right, what about Livy Dundee United?
Again, Jekyll and Hyde, Dundee United. I think Dundee United should be
Do you know,
strong enough to beat
I'm going to go.
Livingston.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Dundee United. I just think they'll have enough. Even though it's at Livingston, I just think they can't buy a win right now. They will get a win at some point. At some point, they'll find a win. And
Oh,
it
they
could
will.
be against Jekyll and Hyde Dundee United. It wouldn't surprise me. But
Hmm.
something tells me Dundee United will just edge it.
I'm the same. I fancy Dundee United to
Um,
win.
but
I'll
yeah,
say they'll Dundee United 2-1.
yeah, going the same. Hibs Aberdeen. This one for me has a draw written all over it. Not because I don't think that there's much between the teams, and there isn't. But I often think when you get a big win, like Hearts beating Rangers, there's a come down.
Hmm.
Like Hibs beating Hearts. I don't know. I just think that I could see Aberdeen getting a point at Easter Road. I don't know why, but it's just what I think. I'm going to go one each again. No, in fact, I'll go
Poss
two each. I think Hibs are good for goals.
Possibility, but I
Yeah,
think Hibs with the victory, they should be on a high, so they should be up for the game against
yeah,
Aberdeen. I think they'll win. I'll go 2-0 Hibs. There you go.
okay.
Aye.
Rangers St Mirren. I don't see a lot of goals in this one because I don't think Rangers have got a lot of goals in them. I don't think St Mirren have got a lot of goals in them. I'm going to go with a very boring 1-0 Rangers. And I
Hmm.
think, like the Motherwell game, they'll do enough. But,
Um,
I just think that it's mainly based on the fact that St Mirren don't have a lot of goals in them. And Rangers at home, you rarely see Rangers not scoring. I know they did get the 0-0 with Falkirk early in the season, but in general, Rangers usually find a goal, and I
mhm.
think they will again. But I actually think it will probably be the least entertaining of all the games,
Yeah.
if I'm honest. I don't think there'll be much in it, but I'll go 1-0, and Rangers will take two 1-0s into the Old Firm where that won't be 1-0, I'll tell you that.
Right. Well, I'll go for a
What are
1-1
you going
draw
with?
with Rangers and St Mirren. 1-1.
Yeah, but I fancy Rangers to edge it though. I
They
think if
might.
it was at St Mirren, I'd be more inclined to go with your prediction. But though St Mirren did win at Ibrox last year. They did. They beat us 2-1, I think.
Hmm.
But on to Motherwell Celtic. Go on. How
Oh,
how how high can you count? Who are we going with?
I know. Well, it
I,
depends
I'll
on
go
how.
first. I'm gonna. I actually think Motherwell. No, sorry. On you go.
Um, it depends on.
On you go. Sorry.
Well, I'm saying it just depends on how Celtic turn up in the early stages of the game. We create enough chances and we take our chances. Who knows? It could be 3-4-5 if they come out the blocks and don't concede early like they did against Livingston. Then we might have a chance of going on and winning the game quite comfortably. Depending on because if we can mop them up in the first half, then we normally they normally tend to shade away in the second half. So we'll just see what happens. But I think Celtic will win it.
I,
Yeah,
I don't. I think it's gonna go complete opposite. I think this is where Celtic are going to come up against a good team. Um,
oh, they're
and
good, aye.
I just think that no disrespect to Aberdeen and Livingston, who Nancy's got his wins against, but you've seen even the struggles against 10 men, and you played a team in Livingston who haven't won since August. I
I
just
know.
think that Motherwell are a team that are good at home, and let's be honest, the fact that they've only got 1 point against Rangers so far this season is a tragedy. They should probably
Hmm.
have more points.
Yeah,
And I just think, even if you look back to that game that you won 3-2 against Motherwell, I think Maeda might have scored in the last minute under Rodgers.
yeah.
I just think that Motherwell will have too much for Celtic. Just with that defence right now,
I know.
I
I know. I
think
can see what you mean.
if Livingston can score two, I think Motherwell can score three or four. I really do.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to Celtic, because I think Celtic will score. I'm going to go for an absolute belter of 3-2 Motherwell. And I
Um,
only say this because I can't see Celtic keeping clean sheets.
I know that's one thing I can't
And
keep them.
Motherwell,
See them
well,
keeping.
Celtic will score goals. I've got no doubt that Celtic will score a couple of goals.
Hmm.
But again, if this was at Celtic Park, I'd maybe be inclined to go 3-2 Celtic, like it was earlier in the season. But this Nancy team is not going to keep out Motherwell, and they're not going to keep out Rangers.
Not going to keep it many
While
teams.
keep this open, expansive way of playing.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd be very surprised if they didn't score a couple against Motherwell and Rangers.
Mm-hmm. I like
That's
clean
all I'm
sheets.
saying
Don't
is
get
right now, if he's going to keep to this,
on you go.
Rangers are doing what you want. It's getting
This is the clean
nils and
sheets.
winning 1-0. That's what you prefer.
Mm-hmm. In terms of clean sheets, Murray,
It's not entertaining.
I like, I know, I like clean sheets, but um, see, as long as we win the games, it doesn't really matter if we keep a clean sheet as long as we're winning.
Yeah. Oh, you don't mind if you win 4-3, aye.
Oh, of
No, as
course,
long as you win the game.
aye. I mean,
But I think
I would
right
prefer
now, I
a
look
clean
at
sheet,
Rangers and Rangers.
but as long as we win, it doesn't matter.
All I'm going to say is Rangers have got 6 out of the last 8 games they've kept clean sheets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And see Motherwell, see that goal at the weekend? That's the first goal they've conceded in 7 games.
All right.
I just don't think that they are a team that. And I think Celtic will score goals because just the way they play, but it's sad, isn't it, that you know your team needs to score 2 or 3 to win,
Mm-hmm. But this team that the
maybe
Motherwell,
4
this
to
manager,
win.
Jens
And
Bertalasco, his team attack teams as well. So with his team coming out against Celtic,
yeah,
that might leave gaps at the back for us to go in and exploit as well.
yeah, that's why I think 3-2. That's
Mm.
that's why I'm going
Well,
3-2 because I think Celtic will score goals. But by the way, when we get on to our weekend predictions, I would not be surprised to see a 2-2 or a 3-3 at Parkhead between Rangers and Celtic,
mm,
just because Rangers are terrible at the back and Celtic are terrible at the back.
hmm
I think you look a little bit better, a bit better going forward than we do,
yeah,
but Rangers are quite good in transition, so we are
hmm
quite good at counter-attacking. And if Celtic leave, Ralston back on his own at some point, then let's be honest,
who knows?
you're going to get goals. But I don't know. I think, I think my thoughts are that I think Motherwell will edge it. But if we move on to the transfer window, I mean, just quickly, just a couple of minutes. What do you think Celtic desperately need to get out of January?
Striker, I would say a right-sided wing back and a right-sided centre back. There you go.
Right. Okay. That'll be your three.
That's my three for the Celtic.
I don't think it will surprise you to know that I think Rangers need a spine. They need a centre back.
hmm
Um, they definitely need a striker because Chermiti's guff. And I think they do need a 6, but I think more importantly for this last 6 months of the season, we need another left back because we've only got McGowan out there. And I do
Yeah.
think that you can maybe get away with not having a 6, but I think it's something we need to address in the summer.
hmm
And I think Celtic probably need to address that as well. I think you need a proper number 6.
Yeah,
If we can get 4, I want
I,
a 6 as well.
I wouldn't disagree.
But yeah. But it's going to be interesting because I think Rangers are going to sell players too and probably cancel a couple of loans because the players we're getting linked with are loan players, and Rangers can only get one more loan, is
Mhm.
by my counts.
Same with
So
what
they'd need to
same with
cancel one of the loans to get 2 loans.
I seen today that we were linked with a Bournemouth player that used to play for Nancy in
Was
the
that
MLS.
Araujo? Yeah, the Mexican boy.
Araujo,
Yeah, he's a good
Araujo, is
player.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He played at Barca for a bit. He's played. He
hmm
went. He not played for Bournemouth, but I
Yeah.
definitely played in the MLS.
He looks as
I
if he
don't know too
sounds as if he'd be a
much
good one.
about him, but he is like a wing back rather than a right back.
Aye.
Yeah, can't be worse than the last Mexican you had.
Juarez.
Remember old Efrain Juarez? What a player.
Efrain Juarez. Yep.
He was.
I liked him. He
Uh,
just never got a chance.
but yeah, I think. I think there's going to be lots of surgery on Rangers Celtic squads. A little bit on Hearts because I think Hearts need a wee bit more as well if they're going to do it. If
If
they're
they're going
going
to
to
keep up
see
the
through
title
this title challenge.
challenge,
Mm,
they'll probably need to improve as well.
yeah,
Well, let's hope they
January's
don't.
going to be huge. I
Hope
think whoever comes out of January
they probably will though.
stronger
hmm
than I think whoever comes out of January wins the league. Honestly, I really do. I think whoever has that good transfer window.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know if I trust the people making the decisions at Rangers to get it right, but you just never know.
So the Celtic board are
But I do
famous
think we've
for
got
that
a
as
good
well, for not
manager
getting
who can
it right.
sort us. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but would you be worried if you were just targeting players based on Nancy's system, or do you think are you all in that Nancy's he should get the season?
I'm not. I'm not. I'm definitely not all in. No, but we're needing new players regardless. So whether they
But
fit
do you
his
think he should
system or
get the
not.
window? Really?
Well,
But do you think he should
up
get the
until he won
window to get his style of players?
up until he won the games, I wasn't really wanting him to get the window. But it looks as if he's going to get it. I'm still not in favour of him, to be honest. If I'm being honest with you, still don't fancy him. But
Mm.
but the Celtic board aren't going to pull the trigger, are they? They're going to get rid of him,
See,
are
if
they?
I was a
So
mm. if I was a Celtic fan, I'd be worried that you'd get a Rangers situation where a new like our manager's come in, Danny Rule, and he's
mhm.
got a squad full of players that don't suit how he wants to play, and
Uh-huh.
he's having to find unattractive ways to win games of football because he's looking at the team and going, "Oh,
Yeah.
he's mince, he's mince, he's mince. He
hmm
doesn't suit anything." Um, so that would worry me though if you went out and got 5 or 6 players in January to suit a guy and then he gets sacked.
That's my worry as well. If we fill the
That's a
squad with players
tricky
that he
one as well,
signs,
isn't it?
and then if he
Yeah.
gets the sack, then we're going to have to actually keep playing that system because he signed the players for that system.
I don't hate the system.
No, neither
I
do
quite
I.
like it. Back three Rangers are doing it, to be honest. Um,
Sorry, if you've got
I
the
just
players,
think
it would work.
it
It'll
needs
work
to
with
have
the
the right
players.
players, and
hmm
you can't put it this way: you can't have Ralston at right centre back.
No,
No
no,
disrespect to the boy, but he couldn't defend for Toffee, right?
no. He
Like,
plays his. Don't get me
and he
wrong. He
can't
plays
be
his heart
left
out.
alone to
He plays his heart out and all the rest of it. But he's just
exactly. Like,
no. He's not going to
he's
be
very like
suited to that.
he look. He's a player that's a valuable member of the squad, just like
hmm
Kirk Broadfoot was for Rangers. But he's not
Yeah.
the guy you want at the back left on his own when teams are
No,
attacking.
definitely
You know,
not.
no disrespect to him because he's a trier, but
hmm
yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting January. I really do.
It will be.
But we'll leave it there, and we can obviously we'll do another pod on Friday, and
Yeah.
we can review the Tuesday games and look ahead to a couple of derbies at the weekend because we've got
Big
a
weekend.
Dundee derby and a wee small one in the East End.
hmm Yeah, I'll be there.
But we'll see how it goes. But
hmm
I just hope that Rangers get the win that can give us momentum to go into that game. We need to take care of St Mirren no matter how it goes. It just needs to be a win.
Yeah.
Even if we're crap, we need to win. It's as simple as that.
Uh,
I'm sure you're thinking the same with Celtic. You just need
of
to win
course, I don't care how good
and
the
get
performance, how
onto
bad
the
the
same
performance
amount
is,
of points as Hearts.
long as we win the game. Yep. Yeah.
But I fear that Motherwell just are going to be all wrong for you right now. But
Right.
hey, it's not. I've got many predictions wrong in the past, so I might get another one.
We shall see.
But aye, we'll leave it there. We'll reconvene on Friday.
Yep. Right.
Right. I'll see you on
Thanks.
Friday.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Right, cool.
Bye bye.